And we are live. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to Forever Sports. Let's make that nice and green. Seeing it is Bok team prediction time, and we will have a first team announcement of the November internationals in T minus 4 hours. The team set to be announced at 5 o'clock when Rassie will drop his starting 15 and match day squad. And we expect it to be a very Japan-based squad, given the fact that they have been available, that they went over there early, that they have trained, for example, and that they are going to be the most fresh. And also, more to the point, haven't played rugby for the last month, and therefore need a bit of game time and the likes of that. So we do expect it to be quite a Japan-heavy side, really, in terms of what we're going to see later. Look, we might be completely wrong, and might be nowhere near a Japanese-based style, but that's what we're expecting, which means that that is the only information I'm offering out to you. But basically what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be going through 1 to 15, and you are going to be voting on who you think will start. Now remember, it's not who you want to start, it's who you think will start. And the main thing that I also want to ask you to do is go and predict your team on my picks right now, which looks a bit like this, and get involved. There are free leagues to join. You can join the Forever Sports Leagues. We've got a Springbok Score Prediction League. We've got a full November Internationals League. We've got a Springbok Team Predictor League. I know that Ubuntu Capital is one of the companies that is doing a Team Predictor League where you can win prizes if you are in South Africa. There's cash prizes available. And also, I'd love you guys to create your own leagues and, family leagues or work leagues and the likes of that. If you're in a sports club, create team leagues. And your support with trying to get my picks going is greatly appreciated, because it means that we can really build a platform that you want to see. And that is the whole thing. I don't think we've really seen platforms where we so consistently engage with the users about what works, what doesn't work, what would you like to see, what are you enjoying about it, what aren't you enjoying about it. It's essentially your platform, to be honest. We built the platform for our audience based on what we try to do with regards to try to add our team predicting shows or team creation shows and player ratings, for example, and doing score predictions. So we basically took everything that we had done in the past on the channel and what you'd engage with you guys, and we try to build a platform to do that. So that is then my picks at mypicks.app. So please do make sure you go and submit your picks and go and join those leagues. And let's get into it. So basically what we're going to be doing is going through 1 through to 15, adding your options to select players, and we will then be building our side from there. Now, very noticeable is the fact that this weekend falls out of the test window, which means theoretically the likes of a Bone Fenter is unavailable, an Archie Snyman is unavailable, who else is unavailable? I'm pretty sure I heard Thomas the Toy currently is obviously unavailable. Somebody like something else, a Jean Klein is unavailable for this weekend because it falls out of the international window. And as far as I understand, those teams have not provided special dispensations for them to come and play. So we're going to be starting with our loose head prop, and your options really are Gerard Stennekamp and Oxenchair, because Bone Fenter, unless there's a change in what I've understood from Thomas the Toy's availability, then my understanding is that he's not available for this weekend. And as a result, we've actually only really got 2 options at Lucid, which is Gerard Stennekamp as well as Oxenchair. Bone Fenter also should not be available for this weekend. As again, unless there's been some sort of special dispensation, but we haven't heard about it. Therefore, we are assuming that there isn't that option. So let's go through it and let's give you options, shall we? So this is quite a straightforward vote, really. It's either we're going to have Oxenchair or we're going to have Gerard Stennekamp. Who starts at number 1 with a question mark? Oxenchair or Gerard Stennekamp? I don't think you can really go wrong with that selection, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Gerard Stennekamp get the nod, given the fact he hasn't played for the Boks this year. And I also think that Oxenchair has obviously played a lot of rugby and will be expected to play a lot of rugby in this end-of-year tour. He will start against France. He will start against Ireland. My guess is he will start probably against Italy as well. So I'll be very on. I'll be, I wouldn't be surprised if he's given the option on the bench this weekend. But at the same time, he's been so consistent and is such a fit and solid player. He could very well start. And we've always traditionally used Gerard Steenekamp off the bench in his career so far. In fact, I don't even know if he's actually started a game for the Boks. If he has, less than 2 for Gerard Steenekamp, which is good to see that he is back in the mix though. And he was such a big part. I mean, he was part of that massive scrum at Loftus last year when we basically just pushed Ireland over the try line. He was part of that. So it's good to see that he is back and he's available and he is going to get some more caps this tour. Because I think some people are starting to forget about him a little bit. But he's got back to full fitness and he is available and will feature this weekend. Jean Brad says, interesting who will be on 15. And Jean-De North says, away Masakin, hope you're doing well from a windy UK. Well, welcome and join to us from a windy UK. As mentioned, there are lots of different leagues you guys can go join on my picks and... yeah, I mean, we want you guys to send us your teams, for example, and make sure you get your score prediction, your team predictions in on my picks, because later when we actually reveal the side, we'll go and have a bit of a dive into what the predictions were like and who did well and who did not do well. I want to try and get 20 votes for each player we get going, so please let's see if we can get a couple more votes here. Please do also smash a like if you've already voted in the poll. Go and get that like in. Because you got a little bit late. People have been a little bit off with the hitting the like button. I mean, we got to get better than that. But get your vote in for who's going to start. Make sure you smash a like on the video. If you are new to the channel, subscribe as well. We are on the journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I think we could get there maybe this weekend. Malebongwe says, let's go safe here. We don't want any injuries. Gareth says, I wonder if Portland is going to get a game time. He hasn't played much international matches, in terms of international club matches. You are very right. I think he's played 3 or something like that in terms of like URC or Champions Cup matches. He's obviously played Currie Cup matches for the Stormers, but hasn't played international club matches, which is kind of what everybody kind of counts as these days, really. But yeah, so we've got over 21 votes, and as mentioned by Malebonga, maybe going a bit safe and saying, let's go with Gerard Steenekamp. Let's give Oxen Chair a bit of time off. In terms of hooker, we've only got 2 options with the uninjured vessels being banned at the moment. So my guess is that Malcolm Mark starts. He hasn't played rugby in the last month, and it will be very fresh. You'll also want to get some game time into his. But we could also very well have a look at Johan Krobbelar and what he brings. I think those will be our hooker options this weekend, unless all of a sudden we see maybe Marco van Staden. Maybe we should have put him as an option. I'd be very surprised if we see Marco van Staden start at hooker. Cover hooker, maybe. And he has this year. But start at hooker, that's a whole different kettle of fish, really. So go and get your votes on who you think is going to start in the number 2. And let me know in the comments, have you done your team on my picks? I've done my team, by the way. It has been submitted. And hopefully I need to start doing well. I've been very bad in my prediction leagues. Imagine creating a prediction platform and then consistently being in the bottom half of the table. That is my life. But I've always been bad at them. But I've always enjoyed doing them. So one of those things. I'll make a terrible bookie. So yeah, but anyway, so let me know if you have done your team prediction on my picks, and drop it in the comments or email it to me at youtube@foreversportsmedia.com, and I will critique your teams, and we can see later who got it right and who got it wrong. So once I go over that 20 votes mark at the moment, Jan Krobler is leading the race, which is an interesting call. I said Malcolm Marx hasn't played any rugby since against Argentina, so my guess is that he will start this weekend. He'll get good for 40-50 minutes under the belt and then be hooked, so that he is ready to go for France next week. So I have 24 votes, but this is very neck and neck. So I'll close it off as soon as we get to 25. How about that? As soon as we get to 25 votes, I'll close it. They're literally at 50-50 at the moment. So once we get to 25, we can't physically be 50. No, we jumps to 26 votes, 28 votes. This is not helping me at all. I'm going to close the poll, and I'm going to hope we got 29 when I close. So I'm hoping we will have a potential winner. We do have a winner, and Malcolm Marx goes in at number 2. So getting there. And then the big, a very interesting selection for me this weekend is who starts at number 3. And your options aren't a lot, if you're going to be perfectly honest. You basically got Vilkelo or you got Zachary Portham. Unless they've gotten a permission to use Thomas Toy, it'll be one of those two. So I do think we're going to potentially see a Zachary Porthen debut this weekend. Whether he starts or not, that is the question, isn't it? A big shout out here, Reem, who has gifted a Forever Sports membership and has been received by Jan Brandt. So a big shout out to Utah here. Thank you very much for gifting that. People, it is the season of giving, you know, and we're going to do a little poll a bit later. And the question is, because somebody dared me to do it, should we be doing a fundraiser for Movember? And obviously I always do the Movember, but instead of maybe doing the traditional stash, we do handlebars and we do like a mullet or something, all for a good cause. I'm in to do it if there's a demand, but people need to then support it. So right now we've got to get our number 3 in. We've almost got past 30 votes. That's going to be our new margin because we're almost up to 70 viewers. 30 votes and we'll close it off there. At the moment, Wilco Low getting the majority of the votes so far. We've got to get past that 30 votes. We are at 30 votes, which means that we can put Wilco Low into our starting lineup. What a front row that is. So there it is. As you can see there's the notification for our latest member. Leonard Brandt, you can gift that from to here. Right, let's get into our number 4. Now, similarly, we've also got issues here because we don't have, we've got Eben Etzebeth who's available. We've got Luat Diago who's available. We don't have Arcus Neyman this weekend. We don't have Jean Klein. We do have Franco Mostert, although not traditionally a 4. Neither is Luat Diago, in fairness. And we do have Ruan Okia, who's also not traditionally a 4. But again, we have seen players in different roles. So who starts in the number 4 jersey? This is the question. And we're up to over 80 watches, so let's try and see if we can get to 40 votes. Ideally, I'd like to get to 50 votes. That gives me something quite useful, a bit more of a representation than just 20 votes. If you get to sort of 50 votes, I feel like 50 is always a nice benchmark. Down the line, we're going to be doing this with 1,000 votes. Imagine in 2 years' time when you're going to be trying to predict the team for the World Cup final. That we're going to be doing 1,000 votes per player. That will be the day, won't it? But for now, we need to try and get past 40, 125 votes. Get your votes in. Interesting to see Luat Diago currently leading the pack. I think it makes sense. Spoiler alert, he is who I have said my start at 4. And you guys are obviously on a similar radar there. I'm also always trying to be cautious, trying not to tell you guys who to vote for. But I got to give you guys the information that I have to try and guide your picks. Guide as opposed to mislead, I hope. So let's get those votes in. We've got 33 votes. Come on, let's get to 40 votes, people. We need another 7 to get there. We've got 90 people watching. I really don't think it's that big of an ask to get to 40 votes. We got to try and complete our tight 5 here. North Norgel saying he plays club rugby in Japan. Makes sense. Well, that's the thing. I've gone with the very Japan-orientated side in the team that I've predicted. Because I think that just makes the most sense. They haven't played rugby in the last couple of weeks. They need to get themselves out there. They obviously went over there early, for example, so they have acclimatized after the traveling. Not like there's any time zones to worry about, but literally, it takes a day or two to bounce back from the traveling itself, get to know the conditions, which are obviously a bit cooler than what's happening right now in South Africa, which is an absolute scorcher. It's very warm down here at the moment. And we're still sitting at 37 votes, people. Come on, we've got over 90 people watching. Rugger Man says he did well versus All Blacks, so not a shocker if he does. I don't think so at all. And Matthew's saying, you're friendly, like the video reminder. Yeah, we've got to have the reminders out there and subscribe to the channel. Let's try and see, can we get to 100,000 subscribers? Can we be the first South African rugby YouTuber to get there? That is what we're trying to do, and we are less than 3,000 subscribers away. So yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed, first of all, why not? Second of all, get on it. We are over 41 votes. We can put Luat Diago into the side because he has been backed over there, and now we need to choose our number 5, who are basically the 3 remaining options. So who starts at number 5? Options are Eben Etzebeth. That would be the day, wouldn't it? He's never started at 5, I don't think, ever for the Boks. You've got Franco Mostert, who I think will start. The fact that we haven't seen him recently, but he keeps being retained in the squad, shows that they are not discarding him yet. And I think that he could maybe we could have put Peter Steph the toy in as an option, but I'll be very surprised if we were to see Peter Steph the toy in that number 5 jersey. So next up, to complete our tight 5, go and vote for the number 5. Need to get my fan on. It's starting to cook here. It's starting to cook here. And yeah, it's. I mean, I was on the cricket field on Sunday, 34 degrees. Not fun at all. So here Ron says, fast forward next week, which bench split do you want versus predict against France? I think we might see a 6-2 for the first time. I think a lot of it depends on the injuries, depending on Damien Willemse and whether he's going to be fit. Personally, I think we have to have Martin Liebach involved throughout this tour in our best games. I think that he has been really good, and I think we've turned a corner. Be interesting to see whether he starts this weekend. I personally think he will, but time will tell. Let's get to past that 40 votes, people, and we are past 40 votes, so we can put Franco Mossad into the number 5 jersey. Pretty good tight 5 so far, in fairness. All right, who starts at 6? You're going to put in Sia Khaleesi, you're going to put in Kwagga Smith, and we'll throw in Marco Van Staden. I'm not going to bother putting in Ben Jason Dixon. He's not going to start at 6. And neither is Nesper Visa, neither is Peter Steph the toy. So those are the 3 options. We need over 40 votes. 40 votes. Although we are up to 100 people, so surely 50 votes is on the table here. Werner Kuhn reckons number 5, Franco Mossad. Matthew Gallagher Collectibles reckons he wants an 8-0 split next week. I mean, it'll be ballsy. And it would annoy Matt Williams. So I can get behind it, in fairness. I could definitely see the merit in it so far. So yeah, we'll worry about that next week, though. First, we've got to try and get through a Japan game, and then we can worry about what next week's team is going to look like. But our pack's starting to take shape. It's a bit of a traditional pack here, to be honest. Obviously, Wilco Low, Gerard Stenenkamp are inverted commas newer players to the squad in terms of being brought back into the mix from a Wilco Low. Gerard Stenenkamp hasn't actually played so far this year due to injuries, but was a very big part of the team last year, and very much seemed to be your go-to replacement prop on the bench. If you'd like to feature in Rassie's Coach's Corner as well, please do consider sending a super chat. We are trying to get more lights like the one behind me, and we're also going to be doing a big November campaign come Saturday, the 1st of November. So we've got past 43 votes. Let's see if we can get up to that 50 votes. Surely we can get up to 50 votes. Malcolm is starting currently leading the race with 43 votes. We need another 7. There's 100 people watching. Surely we can get another 7, and we can get that. I'm going to give that another minute. At 20 past, we will allocate the position. $46 votes. We had 20 past. Last chance, 47, 48 votes. Let's even get to that. 100 votes. 50 votes. 100 votes. 50 votes. There we go. Right, let's lock that in. 50 votes. And we're going to put Marco Van Staden, who's getting the nod in the number 6 jersey for Saturday. There we go. Next one is who starts at number 7? Question mark. Your options: Ben, Jason Dixon, Peter Steph the toy, and Kwagga Smith are your main options. We've put in Frank. I suppose we'll throw in a Ruan Okea just for shits and giggles. In theory, you could cover that option. So we'll throw him in there. Give you guys a bit of a curveball maybe to think about. And then a reminder that, as I said, the team gets announced in T-minus about just under 4 hours. This stream at the end will redirect you to the team announcement, which is going to be at about 5 o'clock when we'll go live. But yeah, so right now we are choosing our number 7. John North Knuckles says, what's your thoughts on Japan's chance after the Oz game? I don't think it gave us that much information. I think it shows you that Japan, as per usual, are a side that you don't really want to underestimate. However, it's a very difficult Australian side to gauge because they're so good the one week, so not good the other week. Obviously, there was cards and stuff like that. In theory, I think it should be a pretty straightforward game for us. I don't give Japan much of a chance. I would have the I would have the handicap at about 18, 19 points personally, but you never know. In terms of what we're going to look like after having not played rugby for a while. But Malabonga says, should be Vincent Stuka starting at 7 for the Japan game. Yeah, I agree. Bolton Ring says, Peter Steph needs a break, surely. There's been a weird misconception that Peter Steph the Toy has played like this stupid amount of rugby. He's not played a lot of rugby this year. He actually hasn't. And I mean, think about it. He has not played in 3 weeks. He didn't play at all in the Japan League. And obviously played a lot of games for the Springbok so far this year. But if we go look at his entire year to date, he has played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. He's played 7 games of rugby this year, in the calendar year. And the last time he played was on the 4th of October. So it'll be basically almost a month on the dot if he plays on Saturday. So in theory, he should be pretty fresh. So I don't think we need to worry too much about him. However, he has not got the most votes, and we are going to put in Ben Jason Dixon into the number 7 jersey. Gary says, I think Peter Steph's Toy starts because we need a captain. Well, right now, if I'm looking at that team, captains, it'll be an interesting one to go with. Maybe Malcolm Mars could be a potential option. Luat Diaga potentially an option. But we now need to go with... we need to close that poll. Ben Jason Dixon's got in. And we need to start our next poll, which is who starts at 8. And your options are Jasper Visa, Sia Khaleesi, technically, I suppose, it could also start at 8. We have seen him there, as well as Kwagga Smith are your real options at 8. So we're going to throw that poll out. You guys can go get voting on that. Ruggerman says, I think we'll see Mane versus France. AJ said 7 is just giving Dixon. AJS says, at Rain, we got much better fullbacks. Not sure what he's referring to in terms of fullbacks. Oh, sorry, Rain there. Why Time Green not get the recognition he deserves? He has been excellent for Harlequins. Well, to be honest, if Quan Horn can barely get into the squad at the moment, I don't see Tyron Green getting into him soon, to be perfectly honest. He's a very good player, lovely player, and in very good form, but we've just got lots of fullbacks at the moment. Although we do have Apelid Fassi injured and Villy LaRue not in the squad. So technically you've only got Damien Willems, who's an out-and-out fullback. But I think they are looking at Jason Colby as an option. I think they do see Sasha as an option. I think they do see potentially Edel van der Merwe as an option as well. So from their point of view, they're saying that they're absolutely fine with 15s. But job. Ruggerman says Jesse captain at 13. Bolton says Starches and at 8. AJS says Visa, he hasn't played that much. Jesse at 13. Captain is a good call records built on ring. And DD says Marco van Staden will be at 8. I didn't even give him. Well, he's actually at 6. So he couldn't be an option for our team. He could be an option for Rassie, I suppose. I'd be surprised. I don't think he's ever played at 8. But we've got over the 50-point threshold. It's a bit of a landslide. It is Jasper Visa into that number 8. Now, we've got a poll. Who starts at number 9? Question mark. Morne van den Berg, Kobus Ranach, or Grant Williams? Who I touch wood, hopefully this doesn't continue, but I don't think Grant Williams has been particularly good in the last month or two. Was probably one of the top fullbacks. I mean, he was almost in the world in about sort of July, August. But I think it was a bit of a fall off, to be perfectly honest. I don't think he's been sensational for the Sharks, but he's definitely our number one, for me, our number one choice, scrum off. Kobus playing some great rugby, though, in fairness. Jay is asking if Storm has released Willemse injury statement. Well, he is over there. So Damien Willemse is over there with the squad. So as far as we understand, whether he might not be able to make it this week, he is going to be in around the squad. You know, there's been no update that he is not fit. We have had no confirmation that he isn't available for this weekend, for example. But we have to wait and see at the end of the day. He is over there. That's the main thing. He is currently over there. I did see on a story that he is in London with the squad. So right now, we're still basically treating it as he's available because we haven't been told otherwise as of yet. But we have to wait and see later. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sasha start if Damien Williams is a bit of a worry. But it also could have been a bit slight tweak. He could have woken up on Sunday feeling absolutely fantastic and he could be ready to go. Who knows? Very interesting call at 9, by the way. The votes have come in and we're going to bring Mooi van den Bergen to get a bit of a run, which is quite an interesting result. Right, next question is who starts at number 10? We got Liebach, Sash Vamigo Zulu, as well as Andre Pollard. And I'll go to some of the comments in the meantime. And Biltong Ring says Grant really needs to absolutely nail down that 9 jersey end of your tour. Didi says I agree on Grant. He's developed a bad habit of taking a split second to pass when the ball needs to go. The team announcement is indeed still at 5 p.m. And Biltong says yes, Grant's pass isn't crisp at the moment. That half a second often gets him caught out. And yeah, I'm interested to see if Mooi van den Bergen does get the nod. I think that they would have liked to have given him more game time throughout this past season, to be honest. I expected to see him play a bit more. I think he's been reasonably solid when he has played. Obviously, a man of the match in that Loftus would have given him a lot of confidence. But I'd like to see him get a bit more. If they are going to phase out Faf, for example, you've got to try and get Mooi van den Bergen those caps if you're looking at him as the genuine replacement for Faf de Klerk, which seems to be the case. So here Rhyme says, I think a full team of snubs, Roos, Horns, Tuk, etc. could do a number on Japan with all due respect. Interesting call. AJS says, whichever starts here will start against France. Well, we are predicting that Mani Liebach is going to get the nod, which makes sense. Again, Japan based, which means he hasn't been playing and will need some minutes. So let's get the poll up for number 12, who starts at number 12. Your options being Damien Delende. We'll put in Damien Williams, shall we? Obviously, Andre Esterhazen. And we'll throw in Ethan Hooker, although I don't think it's particularly likely. But we'll throw him in the mix. Suppose we could have put Pollard in the mix, but I don't think particularly likely either. Maybe Sash in the mix. Matthew says, do you think we will see Sash or one of the wings at 15? My guess is if there's no Damien Williams, Sasha will start. Maybe Colby. Maybe as an outside shot, they might want to try him. Malabonga says, Pollard and Mani need about 40 minutes each year. Biltong Ring says, in my opinion, Eskom lucky to be there ahead of Vincent in Roos. Matthew Dixon says, Japan did get the Aussies a go. We should respect them. I agree. But at the same time, we should never let the Aussies give us a go. So we need to be ruthless with our performance this weekend and try and put Japan to the sword. Anyway, we've got over 120 people watching, so we're going to try and get up to 60 votes for each player. We are sitting at only 26 likes, which is less than 1 in every 4. So I need you guys to up your like. In fact, it's actually like slightly less than 1 every 5, depending on whether they get up to 130 current viewers. So please make sure you smash the like on the video. Ahmed says, with Willie, Willemse, and Fasia, Tyron Green deserves a chance. And Ryan RSA said, hopefully Japan gets added to the Rugby Championship. I don't think we'll see that. Well, obviously, we're not going to see it in the next 4 years. It'll only be post 2030 if that were to change, given the fact that they have confirmed the Rugby Championship plans for the next upcoming sort of few years, with obviously the Greatest Rivalry Tour being launched, British and Irish Lions Tours, try and factor in World Cup years. They have at least confirmed that during World Cup years, it will still be a full Rugby Championship. But we need 4 more votes to get to that 60 margin. Andre Esterhazen currently leading the way. I personally think it'll be Damien Delende, given the fact that he is, again, a Japan-based Bok. But at the moment, sitting on 57 votes. Got to get up to that 60. That for me is now the golden standard, 60 votes here. Rugged Man says, Matt, it was Oz second side. And Bolter says, Green won't get a chance before guys like Quine. I agree. And I don't think he should. I think Quine Horn's been involved. He's been involved in the squad before. He's had training camps. And he's still playing some great rugby. So I think it would be an injustice if somebody would be to be parachuted ahead of him, given the way he has been playing. Martin Kruger says, I think a lot more Japanese players will start because they have not played for a while and we can't go into that France game undercooked. Matthew Santiago Claire says, think Cheslin would be the option of 15. More space equals weak shoulders. Yeah, I do think that if it is not a wing inverted commas, Cheslin for me makes the most sense. Andre Estes is going to go into our side in the meantime. You guys have voted for him. Who starts at 13? Question mark. Your options are Jesse Creel, Kanan Moody, as well as Ethan Hooker, and technically Damon Delende can also do a job at 13. So let's put him in there, shall we? Right, go and get your votes in on the number 13. Burgess Maximus says, I agree, Quine is the next 15 in line, is a Rolls Royce like Andre Bear type fullback. AJS says, looking to the future, he has no place in the team, no disrespect. Fussy, Willems, and Horn are the future. In fairness, Tyron Green's not old, but yes. Creef says, does anyone know what happened to Hashim Pete? He was super talented young 9 for the future. Nothing's happened to him. He is at the Lions. He made his debut for in the Currie Cup, and I do think that we will see... I do think we will see him for the Lions a lot more over the course of the season. We'll definitely, I think, see him probably backing up Nico Steyn on that game against the Bulls, which is where Morne van den Berg will still be overseas. So I think we will see more of Hashim Pete. I mean, what a embarrassment of luxuries for the Lions to think that they lost Sania Nahamba and they've still got scrum half stocks, which are Morne van den Berg, Springbok, Nico Steyn, who's already been called into a Bok training camp, as well as... what's it called? And Hashim Pete, who's going to be a future Bok. So all 3 of those players have been involved in the Bok training squad, and all of them are at the Lions. I mean, how's that for, as I said, an embarrassment of riches? Shout out. Matthew says, I think we need to go strong because we need the game time. We have very big games. And Matthew Dixon, shout out with a super chat saying, we just don't want a Brighton 2.0. Correct. We don't want to be losing to Japan once again in the UK. It will not be a good look at all. So Stone says Quine was outplayed by the Greek was fullback in the Currie Cup final. I don't think Quine played badly in the Currie Cup final. In fairness, I think of all the things, I mean, I think he actually had 2 try assists. Definitely wasn't the reason we lost. But anyway, he's been the form fullback in the country for the last year. Vincent Slater says, during your live rugby matches, you used to show a moving dot of ball possession. I've seen on other channels, live matches channels, showing a blurry center screen of live play. What's up with that? I don't know where they get theirs. We do still have ours. It's in the bottom right corner now. We have been struggling with, well, the data provider hasn't been giving us the data that we would ideally like as accurately as we would like. Unfortunately, we don't have much say in that, and there's no other data providers that provide that kind of concept. Matthew says, I think Horn doesn't get as many chances because the defense isn't where it needs to be. Biltong Ring says, feel bad for Ambrose Pierre. I think you should have played much more Bok rugby. I 100% agree. Paladin says, commentators in previous games said Pete was getting rest. Yeah, look, in fairness, he has had quite a hectic season. I mean, obviously played a full Varsity Cup, went to the junior box, went straight into the Currie Cup. So he is probably a bit on a rotation. Also, don't want to make sure you burn out the youngsters, but I think you will see him quite a lot for the Lions throughout the season. Anyway, we are past 60 votes. Jesse Creel is going to go in at 13. And now we're going to choose our number. Hey, we've got it there. Hooray! Welcome, Arjun Faree, to the Forever Sports Members Club, becoming a Forever fan, as we are. I think we're actually we're trying to get up to 300 members by the end of the year. And we spoke about the fact we had to try and get a member every day until the end of the year, and that would get us past 300. We haven't had any in the last week. We've had now 2 today, so I think we still need to sort of catch up. I must actually do the calculations before we go into the live stream later and talk about how many members we still need and how many we need to actually catch up. But let's go to who starts. No, man, come on, type. Who starts at number 11, and your options are as follows. Ethan Hooker, if it ever starts typing, Ethan Hooker, Cheslin Colby, Edville van der Merwe, who I would like to see, as well as Kurt Lee Orensa. Those are options at 11. Ruggerman says Lions 9 stocks equal to France. In fact, I think better at the end of the day. You know, Morne van den Berg versus Anton de Pont. I'm taking van den Berg. You got to back my boy Clappies. You got to back the lads. You know, the boys playing down the road that I'm going to get across, so they stop playing at bloody 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Very frustrating. But anyway, But yeah, the Lion stocks at the moment are pretty childish at 9. It's wild. We basically have half a hooker. And yet we've got 3 scrum offs who have all been involved in the Bok training camp this year. And we lost in there in the Humber. Big shout out, Andre. John Ferry has not only joined the members club, but he has gifted a membership as well. And Matthew Manasseh has received that. So there we go, 3 for today. So I need to go and do the maths. But our memberships are sitting at about 200 odd, I think. We dropped a few after the end of the Rugby Championship. Always does tend to happen. So we've got to try and I'll do the calculation later for how many we need per day to get to 300 by the end of the year. When I get to 300 members, I want to get to 100,000 subscribers, and I want to get to 1,000 users on my picks. Those are my year goals, which we're starting in November basically. But with you guys, anything be possible. Right, Curly Lawrence has been back in the number 11 jersey. So he's going to go into our team. Let's do number 14, and then we're pretty much done. Starts at number 14. So if you guys aren't on my picks, then go and get involved. Why aren't you on my picks? It's built for you. By us, but for you. Katie Moody's going to go into the mix there as well. Edville van Merwe, as well as Ethan Hooker, who is an option. A lot of outside backs this a lot of wings. We've got, if Ethan Hooker is considered a wing, that's 1. Kurt Lawrence 2, Colby 3, Edward van der Merwe 4. I suppose Moody's more of a centre really these days. So 4 wings. You could probably make do with 3 to be honest, but we've got 4. Edward van der Merwe currently leading the race. Cheslin Colby now. No, Edward van der Merwe. I've got Edward van der Merwe at 50%. 50%. I've now got Cheslin Colby at 39%. But Edward van der Merwe moves up to 55%. 55%. And Cheslin Colby at 38%. 53% for Edward van der Merwe. We need to do an auction of some sort. I did one the other day from a cricket club, and it was so much fun. I think I might just hang up the YouTube career and go become an auctioneer. Not Your Everyday Cultist says, Damon Delinda should have been at 12. He's way better than Esther Hazen. Controversial. Coming in with the hot takes here on a very warm Johannesburg afternoon where I'm at. Biltong Ring says, I wonder how Ethan would go at fullback. That's an interesting shout. I don't think we'll see it, but it is an interesting shout. But at the moment, Edwin van der Merwe's got that back. We've passed 60 votes, so we'll wrap it up there with the votes that we've gotten. And let's throw him in. I'm a big fan of that shot. I would love to see Edwin van der Merwe. I think that he just keeps picking up bloody injuries at the wrong time, and he should have been a 15 cap Bok by now. Maybe 10, but I genuinely think he should have played a lot so far. Right, let's go to who starts at 15. And it is, your options are Cheslin Colby. As I said, we haven't been told that Damian Willemse isn't available. So I'm going to put him in there, and I'm going to put in a Sasha Famagomazulu as an option as well. Those are really your only options left. So I'm going to put those 2 out. I don't think Ethan Hooker is really considered an option right now. We've already got Kurt Lawrence in the side. We've already got Edward van der Merwe in the side, who could be options at 15. So yeah, those are the options. At this stage, I said Damian Willemse is supposedly, as we understand it, fit to go. We haven't been told otherwise. Odjon says, if Dixon is picked, I'm expecting a massive statement shift. Well, he needs to. He needs to put in a massive shift, because I thought last year he got the call up and didn't take it. And I'm a massive Ben Dixon fan. I was advocating for him a long time when he got the call up, but then I personally thought he was very average against Australia, and when he got his chances, and I thought Vincent Tuka took his chances probably better than he did. But didn't get the call up, which I thought was strange for this tour. But Ben Dixon has been given another opportunity, and you guys are reckoning he might even start this weekend. Well, you guys are saying that he will start this weekend. So that is how our team is currently shaping up. We've just got to put the last person, which is our fullback. We've got to get to 60 votes, people. We're sitting at 51 votes. And then we'll pretty much wrap it up for now, because we're going to be live later for the... team announcement at 5 o'clock. Going to some of the comments, AJS says, Edville won't be involved. I'm calling it. Not your everyday culture says, the fact that Damien basically kept Andre out of the team for so long shows his level. Look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think Damien Delendi is one of the most underrated players, borderline in Bok history, where he's just consistently probably been in the top 10, 15 best players in the world, but never really been given his flowers. Lilia B says, how about Moody at fullback? Interesting sharp. Maybe could have put him in there. Rugged Man says, what about Peter Steph's toy? Matthew Manasseh says, I think Sasha on the bench for the cover. AJS says, Paul DeVries from the Stormers could be in the box setup in the future. Big fan. Big fan. Very good player. Malabongwe says, Dixon is giving us Murat Leo performance. It's a no from me. Gavin Sylvester says, I think SFM will come off the bench for this match. Possible with Edel van der Merwe, if not Pollard. And Pablo coming in says, I don't get the Vincent part really. He was great. I agree. I think a lot of people are saying that he was good. So a bit weird that he didn't get the call-up. I thought it was a bit weird he didn't get the call-up. But again, what do I know? Apparently not as much as the coaches. This is a very close call here. Cheslin Colby has just snuck Sheshfam Gamazulu for that spot at full back, which means we can officially lock in our picks. And we're now going to share, and I'm going to generate the team image. And we're going to be able to look at the community pick team. And this is what you guys can do. When you guys go and predict your team, you can then go generate this image that you can then share with your mates. That's kind of the whole point. And it looks a little something like this. So there we go. That's the team that you guys have picked. So we have gone. Let's go through it, shall we? We have got Gerostina Cup in the number 1 jersey, Malcolm Marks in number 2, Vilko Low in number 3. We then got Luat Diago, Franco Mossa in the 4 and 5. Malcolm Stard, Jas Visa, Ben Jason Dix completing our back row. We've got Morne Vandenberg and Mike Liebach as the halfback combo. Andre Esterhazen in the number 12 jersey, Jesse Creel the number 13, a back 3 of cookers. That would be the scrum half. What's the scrum cap union of Kurt Lawrence, Cheslin Colby, and Edville van der Merwe. So proper back 3 in terms of pace and X factor, if they were to go with that one. AJ says, I'm not confident with this team contradictions. Fair enough. We'll see later, won't we? Arjun Faris says, what do you think Russ does here? Go for statement game or just some rotations? I think we need to find opportunities to get players playing rugby. I think we've got to go Japan-based box and make sure going into France, everyone's basically played rugby within the last week or two and are pretty much up to match fitness. So I think we do have to go pretty Japan box heavy and make sure that everyone's at their best for the game next week against France. That's obviously the first big one of the tour. Yassine says, can't believe people have voted to Liberty Start Our Cry. I've been singing this song for years. It warms my heart that you guys are finally on this side. You have. Yassine, you've been here for a while, and he has been backing the Marnie shout. And Bill Song saying, Liebach is money. We are coming around. Definitely people starting to back him. Truly back him. And as Matthew says, if we go with that back 3, it is the scrum half mafia. Shout out for that. Imagine if we do see them. It'll be a lot of fun. People, we're going to wrap up there because we are going to be live in a little bit for the official team announcement. Get your predictions in right now. It is the pinned comment. Go and predict your sides. I'm also going to drop the link for the team predictor league, and then later I'm going to drop the link for the score predictor league to go and join the Springbok one as well as the general one. So make sure you go and join the team predictor as well as the score predictor. And as well, what you can go see is you can actually go and browse. There's a whole bunch of leagues around, and one of them is actually going to got a cash prize. So, you can go join. I think it's Ubuntu Capital is the company that has officially put up a cash prize for a weekly cash prize for everyone. For basically whoever gets the closest wins that cash prize. And they then draw. If it's been shared, then they draw and share it. But so we'll drop all those links later. So please do make sure you go and join them and get involved. Please do smash like on the way out. Please do